Well, hello everyone. Today we're going to explore something on the internet. All right, so I'm at the website. Here it is. The URL, the address is ahajokes.com, and this site has a whole bunch of top 10 lists. And the list that we're going to look at today is top 10 ways to annoy your waiter. So when we're talking about the waiter, you could say server, but we're talking about the waiter, the person who brings you food, right? So if it's a female, it would be a waitress, right? And if you put in server, it can be food server. Not an internet or computer server, right? Server can be male or female. Okay, so as we explore this list, we're going to use dictionary and we are going to use images from Google. Wonderful. So let's see the title, Top 10 Ways to Annoy Your Waiter. We talked about waiter. Annoy. What does the word annoy mean? Well, it's basically to make someone upset, right? So let's put it in. Oh, it's already there. Annoy. All right. Irritate. Oh, that's a good word. Irritate someone. Make someone a little angry. All right. So if we're talking about annoy, you're not like pissing them off, but you're doing something that makes them feel a little upset, irritated, bothered. That's good. Bother someone, annoy someone. When I think of the word irritate, I think of it as a higher level, right? So we have annoy, and then we have irritate, then we have piss off and rage, right? Okay, so here we go. Top 10 ways to annoy your waiter. And it's from The Late Show with David Letterman, Friday, January 13th, 1995. Woo! 25 years ago, with revisions made by John Insor. Okay, so John Insor took the list and he made some changes. He made some revisions. Okay, so the list was originally from The Late Show with David Letterman. All right, so that's an American TV show, and I don't think it's on anymore because I think he's getting quite up there in age. I think he's quite old now. Let's see. So The Late Show is a comedy show, or was a comedy show. I'm not sure if it's still on and someone else is hosting it, but David Letterman, this is the guy, and here he is with President Obama. So this is David Letterman right here. He's the host, comedian, the person who, hosted the Late Show. Okay. And he always brought on guests. He would talk to them. And something interesting that he would do is he would do top 10 lists. All right. So top 10 lists here, he's holding the card that he used and he would read off it, and they're trying to be funny, humorous, and yeah. All right. So that's what we're doing today is we're using one of his top 10 lists and we're going to go through it. Now about the list, it's focused on the category of, to annoy your waiter, ways to annoy your waiter. And the English is very informal, right? I imagine there's some slang in there. We're going to look through it and see what we can do and explain it. All right. So it starts with number 10. All right. And you can see my cursor, my arrow is green, so it should be easy to follow. Number 10, 8-hour lunch, $2 tip. So if you notice right away, this is not correct English, right? So it's missing some words to make it grammatically correct. But you know what? When we talk informal, it's very common to not use correct English, right? So this is not a full sentence. But let's forget about formal English and let's have some fun with informal English. Okay, so top 10 ways to annoy your waiter. The first one is 8-hour lunch, $2 tip. All right, so let's explore a few things here. So a tip, depending on your country, right? So when you give a tip in the US and it's at a restaurant, let's see, tip at a restaurant. There we go. Okay, you leave some money, right? And in my experience, you get the bill, which is the little piece of paper that says how much you need to pay for the services, the food you ate, the drinks, and all that. And in my experience, 15% to 20% is considered regular. So if your bill was $100, you would give $15 to $20. That's kind of in general. The lower you tip it's giving them a message that their service was bad, right? The more you tip, like if the total bill is $100 and you give like $30, $40, $50, you're giving them the message that, wow, the food was great, the service was great, and it was wonderful. All right, so here we go. 8-hour lunch. So you're out with your friends? Lunch with friends, how about that? All right, so you're out with your friends at lunch. Big meal, lots of fun, having a wonderful time, and you're there for 8 hours, right? 8 hours. And you only leave a $2 tip. Okay, so during those 8 hours, you have to imagine your server, the waiter, the waitress, they're bringing you food, they're checking on you, they're filling up your drinks, they're giving you maybe dessert, whatever you're ordering, answering your questions. And the way you thank them is you only give them $2. This is considered a very low amount, especially since you've been at the same restaurant for 8 hours. And if you've been at there for 8 hours, you probably weren't just drinking water, you're probably having a full meal. Okay, so that was the first way to annoy your waiter, is to be there for 8 hours for lunch and only give a $2 tip. The waiter's probably going to smile, be respectful, but inside they're like, cheap. They're so cheap. Okay, number 9. Ask, excuse me, are you a really bad singer or a really bad actor? Okay, so here's some cultural stuff which is good to know, is that it's very common for people who are not successful singers yet, or they're not successful actors, because a lot of people try to be singers, and a lot of people go to Hollywood to be actors. Well, there's not enough demand for all of those people, so they still have to find jobs. And what kind of jobs are very easy to get? Serving jobs in a restaurant, being a waiter, being a waitress. It's not considered a high-skilled job, so it's fairly easy. The entry requirements are quite low. So if you want to annoy your waiter, you ask him or her, excuse me, are you a really bad singer or a really bad actor? So if you ask that question, you're assuming that, they're kind of a failure at whatever they're trying to do, right? So maybe their true, their true passion is to sing, or their true passion is to act, but they're not successful yet, right? Or they're still building, but they have to make some money right now, so they're waiting on tables. Okay, and here's a good phrase. If you say waiting on tables, what do? Oh, I wait tables. Or right now he's waiting on tables. It just means you're a server. You work at a restaurant serving the food and helping the customers, stuff like that. Okay, so that is number 9. Basically accusing them of being a bad actor or a bad singer. We could say that is a great way to annoy your waiter, to make them upset. All right, number 8. After he describes each special, you shout, garbage! Okay, so let's see. One thing that might not be easy to understand in this sentence, the words are easy to understand, but there's a little extra context here. So in nicer restaurants, the waiter will come out and they will explain the special of the day. And when we talk about the special, it's just what the restaurant, their special meal, their special entree, their special dish for the day, and so they communicate it to the customers. If you want to buy it, we have it, it's delicious, it's wonderful, it'll make your mouth just go, ah, right? So they might have multiple specials. We have the linguine, we have the steak, we have the whatever it is. And he describes each one, probably talking about the vegetables, the juice, in a sauce, cooked over a flaming, blah, 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 stuff like that. So after each one, after he describes this juicy steak, you yell, garbage! You shout, you yell, you scream, garbage! Which would be a great way to annoy your waiter. Probably more than annoy, probably like piss him off. All right, let's see. Number 7, whenever he walks by, cough and mutter minimum wage. So your waiter or your waitress walks by and you go like this, minimum wage, minimum wage. So this can be quite insulting, even more than annoying, right? So we had annoying, or make you a little upset, annoy you, irritate you, piss you off, insult you. All right, because minimum wage is the lowest amount that the government allows the workers to be made to make. It's the lowest amount that the government allows the businesses to pay their workers. Now, the different states, New York, Texas, Tennessee, Minnesota, they have different minimum wages, but they also have a federal minimum wage, which is, I believe they have a federal minimum wage. It's been a while since I've been back to the States, but it's basically a minimum, the least amount you can pay your workers, right? So waiters and waitresses, especially at restaurants that aren't very high class, they only maybe earn minimum wage. And they get extra money from the tips, the money that people leave on the table saying thank you for your service. So if you cough and you mutter, when we say mutter, mutter means to talk kind of like this. You talk quietly. They can't really understand what you're saying. They might say, excuse me, what? The opposite of mutter would be to talk clearly, like I'm talking to you right now. If I mutter, then I go like this, right? Okay. Similar to mumble, where you just talk and it's difficult to understand you. So you you cough and you say minimum wage. Now this is a direct insult at their rate of pay, because minimum wage is not a lot of money. It's you can't raise a family, you can't buy a house, it's just barely, it's better than zero, but it's not that great. It's pretty bad actually, especially depending on what kind of lifestyle you want to have. So if you say minimum wage to someone describing their position, their job, their occupation, you're insulting them that they're making, they're not making much money. Okay. Number 6, every few seconds yell, more waffles, Cuomo. Now, this is probably a cultural thing, and I'm not really sure what it means. Let's break it apart. Let's see what we can find. So waffles, as far as I know, are a kind of food. And I usually think of them as like a breakfast kind of food, right? So these are waffles, and these would be pancakes, just so you can see the difference. All right, so pancakes are flat, usually round, but waffles are made in a waffle iron. So let's take a look. Waffle iron. I used to make these when I was growing up. So the waffle iron is the device where you pour in the batter. The batter is the liquid stuff, and you pour it in, and then you close it, and it creates a waffle. So this machine is called a waffle iron, and it produces waffles. And then you put syrup, and oh boy, now I'm getting hungry. Stay focused, stay focused. Okay, so I guess you yell more waffles? Maybe this is an inside joke? You know what an inside joke is? Let's see. Let's take a look. Inside joke meaning. All right, let's take a look. Okay, so an inside joke is a joke that is shared exclusively by a small group of people. Maybe there's something that happened and it was funny, and now in the future, the friends, they refer to what happened in the past. But if other people were there and they weren't there when it originally happened, they don't know what it is. They might say, oh, it's an inside joke, right? So I think this might be an inside joke, maybe for a lot of people. But I think Cuomo is a politician, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see, Cuomo. Let's see what pops up. Okay, here we go. Andrew Cuomo. I don't really know that much, but I guess he's a politician in America. And maybe there's some sort of inside joke when it says more waffles, Cuomo. So I apologize. I can't really explain this one to you. But if you yell more waffles, Cuomo at anyone, especially if their name's not Cuomo, and you're not within like a close relationship to them, is probably some sort of an insult, especially if it's number 6 on the list. All right? Okay, So let's move to number 5. Insist that before ordering, you be allowed to touch the London broil. So insist means obligate. Let's see what kind of synonyms we can find here for insist. I insist. I implore you. I'm trying to force you to do something. Here we go. Demand forcefully to have something. For example, he insisted on answers to his allegations, right? She insisted on carrying her own bag, right? Demand something forcefully, not accepting refusal. So it could be rude if you keep insisting. Okay, so number 5, insist that before ordering, so before you say, I would like the filet mignon, I would like the pasta with cheese and sauce or whatever, before doing that, you say, I must be allowed to touch the London broil. Now, what is London broil? I think we can look it up. All right, goodbye, Cuomo, and hello, London broil. It is a steak. So London broil. Now, broil is a way of cooking. Let's put in broil. All right. Broil, here we go. So to cook something, meat or fish, by exposure to direct, intense, radiant heat. He broiled a wedge of sea bass. Sea bass is a kind of fish, so he broiled the sea bass. Now let's see if we can find a picture of someone broiling. But first off, London broil is a kind of steak. So if you like meat, you probably like London broil. All right, so let's see what shows up if we put broil. Okay, there we go. So we have some meat, and it said to direct heat, right? If it's right over the flame, well, you can't get any more direct than that. So it's basically burning the meat, but it's cooking the meat at the same time. If you leave it too long, it's going to turn black and start on fire. So they cook it just long enough. Okay, so once again, number 5, insist that before ordering, you be allowed to touch the London broil. So maybe you're planning to order the London broil, but you say to your waiter or waitress, I will only order it if you allow me to touch it. Now, no restaurant is probably going to allow you to do that because it gets the food dirty and there's no guarantee you're actually going to buy it. Okay, so let's go. Number 4, tie tablecloth around neck and say, you wouldn't charge Superman for dinner, would you? This one's kind of strange. All right, so tie would probably be tie a tablecloth, but this is informal here. So let's take a look. What is a tablecloth? All right, the tablecloth is just the linen, like the piece of cloth that covers the table. So in our number 5, I think it was, you grab the tablecloth and you tie it around your neck. Kind of like Superman's cape. All right, so you pretend the tablecloth is your cape, and then you say to the waiter, you wouldn't charge Superman for dinner, would you? Now this is just kind of childish, and like a childish, let's look up that word. Which means, of, like, or appropriate to a child. If someone is childish, they're acting like a child, their behavior is like a child, all right? So if you say to your waiter, after you tied your table neck around your neck, you wouldn't charge Superman for dinner, would you? I imagine the waiter would probably be like, that's not funny, sir, but whatever. They would probably try to be respectful. But it's great for an awkward situation, a weird situation, an uncomfortable situation. So yeah, number 4 is kind of strange. Okay, number 3, every time you eat or drink, cough really hard. Right. So this is, once again, a way to annoy your waiter. So whenever you drink or you eat something, you're like, and you cough. So maybe everybody in the restaurant looks at you and they think you're choking, or maybe they think that there's something wrong with the food. I don't know. but your waiter's probably going to come running over, right? Because they're responsible for your table and your section. They want to make sure you're having a good experience, and hopefully they can, get a nice tip and they don't get in trouble from their boss. Okay. Number 2, as he walks by to the kitchen, and he would be the waiter or the waitress. So here, the waiter walks by to the kitchen, scream. So we're not just mumbling, we're not saying, we're screaming, shouting, yelling. He's gonna spit in the chowder. Okay, I think this one's kind of funny so far. So gonna, informal, going to, right? All right, he's gonna spit. Now spit, right? So you have spit or liquid or something in your mouth and you spit it out, right? In the chowder. All right, so what does chowder? When I think of chowder, I think of clam chowder, but we'll just put in chowder first. See what shows up? Aha! So, there you go. Classic New England clam chowder. And I would say clam chowder soup, something like that. I think it looks very good. Let's put in clam chowder. And just in case you guys someone isn't familiar with clam, it's a type of seafood, right? I like it. It's delicious. Okay, so clam chowder soup. There's different ways to do it. I remember, I think my mom would put potatoes in it. She would put some chives. Do you know what chives are? Let's take a look. Chives are chopped up green onions. All right. So when you make clam chowder soup, you can put different vegetables and spices and stuff like that in there, and pretty good, right? And it's served hot, right? It's nice hot soup. Maybe you can eat it with crackers too. And I'm gonna get off focus here, but that's okay. We can say what are they called? Oh, soup crackers. There you go. So you can maybe put them in the soup, or you can just eat them alongside it. And maybe we'll try something else. We'll go crackers with soup. Ooh, this is kind of neat. Look at that neat little thing. Got the soup and the crackers, and it's all one dish. I don't know what you would call that dish. Cracker bowl? Something like that? Okay, let's stay focused. So as he walks by to the kitchen, scream, he's gonna spit in the chowder. Now there's kind of a urban legend, urban myth or something, I don't know, that when waiters, waitresses, servers, they're pissed off and they don't want to work there, or they have a bad customer, there's kind of a myth, and sometimes it's true, where they will spit in the food. It's kind of like revenge. Revenge on the person who's treating you bad. So they spit in the food. Now, I imagine it doesn't happen too often, and it could happen sometimes that we don't know about because you can't see what's happening in the kitchen. But in this situation, we're going to assume that the waiter is just a regular waiter. They don't have any evil intentions. They're just trying to do their job. But the customer's a jerk, and they scream, he's gonna spit in the chowder. Now, if you are another customer at another table and you hear he's gonna spit in the chowder, as in he's gonna spit in the soup, in the clam chowder, you would start to look at your own soup, right? You might be like, did I order the clam chowder? Did they spit in my food? Even if you didn't order the clam chowder, you might be like, what the heck is this? Do they spit in the food? How is the service here? All right. So this would be a great way to annoy your waiter, and probably even more piss off your waiter. Okay, so we're at number 1. Here we go, number 1. 3 words. Eat the check. Right? So when we have the check, there are different ways to say this. We could say restaurant bill, right? It's just the receipt. It's the slip of paper that's, itemizes what you owe. Let's take a look. We could say check, right? Same thing. So we could say the check, the bill. Trying to think how common it is. When your waiter comes up, you say, oh, can I get the check, please? Can I get the bill, please? We're ready to go. Hint, hint, bring the check, bring the bill. All right. So for number 1, 3 words, eat the check. So you would be grabbing this thing. And so they bring it to you, I imagine, and before you pay, of course, before you do anything, you just start eating the check. You eat this piece of paper, and your waiter or waitress is like, what the heck is happening here, right? Okay. And when it says 3 words, right? 3 words as in, the following 3 words are a good way to, in this situation, annoy your waiter, right? If you wanted to be formal, you could say, what you could do in this situation is eat the check. However, if you just say 3 words, eat the check, all right? It could be two words if it's in a different situation. 2 words, run faster or something like that. But when people do that, if they're in a conversation and they say 3 words, eat the check. When they say 3 words, it's a way to kind of summarize what they're trying to communicate. As in, listen to me, I have something interesting to say. Okay. All right, so what was your favorite? If you ask me, the one I think that made me laugh the most was number 2. As he walks by to the kitchen, scream, he's gonna spit in the chowder. Some of the other ones were just quite rude, mean, and degrading. You say to them, minimum wage, it's very insulting, right? Let's take a look if we can find other ways to say rude. We're trying to find something else that is stronger than rude, because rude is like not nice. Let's see. Ill-mannered, impolite, bad-mannered, discourteous, impertinent. Here we go. Audacious, cheeky, impudent, insolent. That's a nice one. Showing a rude and arrogant lack of respect. Insolent. All right. Okay. So let's review. What did we do in this lesson? We talked about top 10 ways to annoy your waiter. I imagine there are more, but 10 are enough. And right, maybe it was funny, maybe it wasn't. But either way, we use a situation to learn some vocabulary, explore different situations, and look at some pictures. Sounds good. All right. That's it for now. Until next time, wherever you are, have a wonderful day.